Welcome to the Check Swing Podcast with myself and the starter show, Miguel. So, Miguel, all that stuff we were doing to get prepared and all that, I forgot to put my mic on.
I was gonna say
All that I forgot to put on my mic. So
I,
I'm
for-
putting it on now.
I was wondering, like, he sounds a little different tonight.
Forgot to put the mic on, but okay. So, welcome back to the Check Swing Podcast with myself and the star of the show, Miguel, Coach Miguel. He is with us all the way live from the city of Baltimore. Big fun, Baltimore.
Yes, sir.
It's wretched. Do you know what that's a reference to?
I have no idea.
It's a reference to the Cosby Show. When Vanessa decided to go with her friends.
Oh, and she got fussed, and she got the worst mom fuss out in television history. That scares me to this day.
To this day, I still watch that, and I'm like quiet and still.
I know.
Said, "Shut up! For all I know, you're lying to me right now."
Go to your room.
That was a good scene. That was a pretty good scene. It got me thinking about it now. Like, that was a pretty good scene. Like, Clifford didn't say a word. He didn't say a word the whole time.
The only thing he did in that scene was he held her back. Remember?
Yeah.
He was about to come at her and he just held her back. I always remember that scene in the joint from Will Smith when his dad leaves.
Oh yeah.
Why don't he want me, man? Like that was like so powerful.
There is a story out there that's and I don't know if Will told the story, or I guess he had to tell the story at some point, but it's out there that scene, at the end of that scene.
I heard what you're about to say. Yep.
Okay, so at the end of that scene, there were more lines, and it was a very emotional scene. And Uncle Phil had some lines to say, and it was actually supposed to end funny. But then Uncle Phil just grabbed Will and hugged him, and apparently told him, "What did he say? Now you're an actor, or now you get it, or something like that."
He said, "Now you're an actor."
Yeah.
Because I think they had been like rehearsing it, and he was like, "You still ain't got it." And it was like he said it was the one time Uncle Phil, I always forget his actual name.
His name is James Avery.
James Avery. He said in rehearsals, he's like, "Man, if you want this scene to be that scene, you gotta like get rid of all, like you gotta dig deep." And I think it took several takes to get that scene, but once they got it, they got it.
They did. That one was it. That one was it. Once again, welcome back to the Check Swing Podcast. We got a couple things we're going to talk to you about today. We're going to break down. We're going to give our predictions a little early than we expected on the Eagles' schedule. We usually wait until after the second preseason game, but we're going to do it early this time. So make sure you're locked in and get those. And then we're also going to talk about a little bit about the MLB Trade Deadline. The Phillies made a move, so of course we're going to mention that. The Mets made a move.
Mets made several moves.
But really we don't really care about the Mets. But that one meme you sent me was pretty funny about the Dodgers and who was it? Rodriguez,
Eduardo
Rodriguez. Yeah, that was a good one. That was funny. But first, what we want to talk to you about is the return of a classic, and I'm talking about this classic right here. That we've been having this issue, something crazy, for the last few weeks. I don't know why.
Here,
but
hold on, let me see if okay, now try it.
So no, it's not working.
There it is.
Yes, like sometimes I noticed last week it took a while. One time, I don't know if it was something you did over there to make it pop up, or if it just was sleep on us. But either way, the Kelly Green Eagles uniforms are coming back this season as an alternative alternate as an
Ultimate.
alternate color. Um, it reminds a lot of people about the days of Randall Cunningham, Reggie White, Jerome Brown, Seth Joyner, and those guys. And for whatever reason in Philadelphia, they've been begging for it. I think the last time they did was 2010 or 2013 or something like that for
Yeah,
one game.
that was the
It was
Michael
actually
Vick,
a game that Kevin Cobb got knocked out and Vic became the starter.
and that was also the game. Stuart Bradley, who was the starting linebacker, he got clocked and he wound up like getting dizzy and falling down after like staggering for 12 yards, and everybody cracked up about it.
So I don't remember that happening to him, but I do remember it happening to Kevin Cobb.
Yeah, his career was over at that point.
Yeah, I think he ended up going to Carolina Cardinals, Arizona,
Uh,
and I don't think he really played
he
much
never,
at all.
yeah, he was never the same after that.
Mm-mm. And honestly, I mean, I don't really know why the Eagles and Andy Reid drafted him. Like, I mean, he could have been good if he didn't get his bell rung like that. But I didn't see it. Like, I didn't even understand why he was starting over Michael Vick, to be honest with you. I mean, I think that was politics, but I don't think it had anything to do with skill set. But you had to get a young in a chance, right?
Yeah, allegedly.
But the Kelly Greens, Miguel, what? Two things. Did we need it to return? And what does it remind you of when you see the Kelly Greens?
I just always think of the gangrene defense because, I mean, these jerseys. When you mentioned a couple of names, but I always remember when I first started watching football. That's the jersey I always remember. I think the first game I ever watched was it was, I think, an Eagles Bears game, and I just fell in love because we didn't really have any offense that day. But I just remember it was like Clyde Simmons was like sacked the quarterback, Reggie White sacked like all these guys were just killing the quarterback and killing the running back. I'm like, man, these guys are beasts. Um, and I think like a week later or maybe a season later, there was the body bag game. I'm like, oh my goodness, they're killing people. I love it. It's
Made you
bittersweet
want to play
though.
football.
It made you want to play football. It made you wanted to play football angrily too.
Yeah.
Um, but I think it's also bittersweet because it also reminds me of how we had such great teams, but we never won anything. So it's like it's bittersweet. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it might have been that's probably the best defense to never have won anything. You know what I mean? Like there were worse defenses that won.
Yeah.
That might have been. I mean, you talking like I'm just thinking of some of the names that I can remember. You're talking Eric Allen. You're talking Seth Joyner, Clyde Simmons. You're talking Jerome Brown. You're talking Reggie White. You're talking Keith
Byron,
Byers, Andre Waters, Keith
Byron Evans.
Jackson.
Yeah.
Who you say?
You had Byron Evans. You had Willie Thomas. Um,
Yes. I'm
Andre
trying.
Dirty Waters.
Andre Waters. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of who the other corner was.
Oh,
Was it
Mighty
McMillan?
Mouse. Mark McMillan. Yeah, Mighty Mouse.
Mark McMillan. Yeah.
And you had Wes Hopkins, who was okay. He was okay.
Listen, man, like that defense, that gangrene defense, and especially under Buddy Ryan, man, those are my first memories of watching football on TV. Was that
Yeah,
defense?
I always loved that part when the I think it was after the Bounty Bowl and the interviewer was like, how do you think how you did with the Cowboys? And Buddy Ryan's like, who the hell are the Cowboys? We always beat them anyway.
What do you do we need it? Do we need the return of the Kelly Greens?
So here's the thing. I like the fact that they did it as an alternate, and not like replaced the current green. I'm still like, I know we won our first Super Bowl with the midnight greens and stuff like that. I just always thought that the wing on the helmet was a little too like cartoonish to me. Like I always like that solid like wing. You know what I mean? It always that helmet always seemed tough to me, and even like the logo with the eagle, the actual eagle carrying the ball, that always seemed tough to me. But the midnight green, when they went to it, I was like, I just didn't like the logo. The color was okay, um,
That's
but
interesting.
I mean, do we need it? I'm just glad that they didn't like stick with it. I
Yeah,
like it. I like it as an alternate. I like it on occasion, but I like having options. Let's put it that way.
I agree with you 100% right there. As much as I mean, I'm somebody like that's what I wanted. Like, bring the Kelly Green back as an alternate. I mean, there's so many teams have different alternates. Bring the Kelly Green back as an alternate. So it doesn't have to be like all white. Like, that's kind of boring for football. Um, I wasn't one of the people that were like, there were people clamoring for they were like begging for the Kelly Greens to come back. It, as much as much of the fond memories I have of remembering that defense, it's like we said before, they didn't win anything. And so really the fond memories, the things that you're thinking about with this Kelly Green, the reason you want this Kelly Green back is the memories of, and I'm just speaking for like my generation, is that losing defense. Now, you talking somebody that watched the Eagles in the 70s and the 60s, 50s, maybe something a little different. But these specific uniforms were the 80s, half the 90s. I like the midnight green. I like the wing. I'm not opposed to the solid wing. I would just want it to have some type of little more flash to it. Like the wing now is kind of 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
The old wing is more more of the 80s. Henceforth, that's what they are. But if you give me a little bit more detail on the wing, not necessarily making it look like it's a feathered wing, but if you give me a little more detail, give it some depth to it or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
I think I could ride with it.
I
I
got you.
could definitely ride with it. It's going to be fun to see because the last time they wore them with 2013 or whatever it was, 2010, I think it was. They look nice. They were nice. They look nice on TV. They look good. With the new age cameras, that's when we're getting into the HD and all like that. They looked brighter than I remember them back in the day.
Yeah.
So they kind of really popped.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this is the second time we're talking about jerseys. I feel like we're fashion judges right now. Right now. But so I'll end the conversation by saying, well, welcome back to the Kelly Greens. I hope we win when we have them all.
Yeah, and they're only going to be using him for 2 games this season. So I think it's against the Bills and the Dolphins. Exactly. I'm like, like why?
What?
It's like, you remember when the Eagles first came out with the black jerseys,
Yeah, and they would only wear like once a year,
or they would only wear them against AFC teams, and we're like,
right?
we actually like the black one. So then they started wearing the all black against like the Giants on Monday night or Sunday night.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why not? Why not wear it every time you play your rivals? You know what I mean? Because that'll
Exactly. That would be great. Like, you're only gonna wear it twice. Like, people have been begging for this, and you're only gonna give it to them twice, and against the Bills and the Dolphins.
Yeah.
I mean, those will probably be pretty good games, but let's see them against the Giants or the Cowboys, or there must be a rule, like, or the Niners. You know what I mean? Let's see
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, I know that NFL has to have a list of potential jerseys like weeks in advance. It's
Yeah,
their rules are so dumb sometimes.
they are. They are. I guess they keep everybody at bay. But as much as people been really begging for these to come back, like, you're only really going to give it to them twice. Like, I hope they have plans for more in the future, because some teams you feel like they wear their alternates 7-8 times a year, even more. You know what I mean? You're only going to give them to us twice
Yeah.
on games we may not even be interested in watching. I mean, we're going to watch it because of the competition. They're pretty good teams, but the Bills and the Dolphins, like, come on, man. That just kind of, Kind of mad about that. Kind of mad about that. All right, let's move on a little bit. Talking about the Eagles, Kelly Green jersey, and then, so let's talk about the Eagles. Let's go ahead and let me pull up the schedule. I forgot to do this pre-show.
I got it. I got it up if you need it.
Okay. Oh, okay. Hopefully it works this time.
Hold on, wait. There it is.
What is that? What do you have to do?
That time I actually did nothing. I think I touched my right foot and it worked.
Okay, well next time touch your right foot and see what happens. So we're gonna go and break down the Eagles schedule this year. You know how we do. We go down, we make our predictions. I think last year I had them at what I had them 14 or
you had them at like 15-2.
No, I had them at like 14-3. No, 14-3 was their record, right?
Right. No, you were close. You had them at 13.
I think I had them 12-5. I think I had them at. It was something weird. 12-5 or 11-6. I don't think it was 11-6 though. I think it was 12-5. But the way I picked it, it went nothing like that. The games I predicted, it went nothing.
Like they're gonna lose their first 4 in a row, then they're gonna spot off like
it was wild. Like it was like they're gonna lose the first one, win the second one, and they're gonna lose like 7 straight. Then they're gonna win the rest, and they're gonna end up 11-5.
Right.
After losing 7 straight. So I'll just break down. My throat's a little dry. I didn't bring my water up here with me. I'm gonna just go down real quick. Week 1 at the Patriots. Week 2 home against the Vikings. Week 3 at the Bucks. 4 home against the Commanders. 5 at the Rams. 6 at the Jets. 7 home against the Dolphins on Sunday Night Football. Week 8 at the Commanders. Week 9 versus the Cowboys at home. Let's tackle that first half of the season, Miguel. Let's tackle that first. You go to New England week 1 of the football season. I don't think we've ever had to do that. I don't know if we've ever had. Well, I shouldn't say ever, but I don't think we've had to do it in recent memory.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
In New England. This is going to be a tough game. I know a lot of people think New England's going to stink or whatever, and they might. But you never know what Bill Belichick is pulling up out his sleeve in week 1. He's not going to show you anything in the preseason. So you got to kind of come in and make your adjustments in the game. And hopefully the Eagles have the staff to make in-game adjustments. Well, we're not going to go there. Mm-hmm. What you think, Miguel, about what I said and your own thoughts about it?
I think you're completely wrong, and we're going to win week 1.
Wait, I didn't say we're going to lose.
Oh, okay, good.
I didn't say but no,
I don't think it's going to be like a pushover game, but I think we're going to see. I think it's going to be a good showing by the Eagles because again, I think what you were trying not to say in regards to the coaching change on the defensive side of the football, I think you're going to see something different, something better. Can't pinpoint what it is, but it's just a hunch of mine. I think it's going to be I think it's going to be a good show. I think it's going to be I believe they'll be blitzing. But they'll know how to blitz. It's not just blitzing just to blitz. There's some strategy behind it. But
I miss the days of Jim Johnson being our defensive coordinator.
Yeah, and again going back to the Kelly Greens because I was brought up with Bud Carson as defensive coordinator, and he was
Buddy Ryan.
But under Buddy Ryan, right? And he they mastered the 4-6 defense until the playoffs, and everybody figured, if they blitz, we just throw it over their head and beat them for a touchdown. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I have a feeling it's gonna be a good showing week one. Because if there's anything that we know, if there's anything about the Eagles that we've seen over the past year, they definitely come well prepared. Usually comes down to some questionable play calling, but even they got better on better at that on offense. We'll just see what happens on defense. But yeah, I'm hopeful week one.
Well, as you know, as you remember, when we had the handicapper on Mike Knox, my man Mike Knox, I said, and he said it. He gave me the credit. Week one is like the second hardest week to predict.
Yeah.
To me, week two is the hardest week to predict because what you saw last week, you don't know if it's real or if it was just a flash in the pan. Week one is very hard to predict. I think the Eagles are better than the Patriots. I think they will be better than the Patriots that day. I just think it'll be a tough game. No Super Bowl hangover for this team. I got the Eagles winning week one as well as you. Sweet. So we're both starting off 1-1. Week two at home, Thursday night football, short week against the Minnesota Vikings. I'll let you start out.
I don't like short weeks, and that would be the game that they would kind of crap the bed. But I think because it's happening in the beginning of the season, it may not phase them too much. And Kirk Cousins is still there?
To the best of my knowledge, yeah.
Oh yeah, so then that's another W, 2-0.
Yeah, that's another W, I believe, as well. They got rid of Dalvin Cook. What's my man's name? What's the wide receiver's name? It just slipped my mind just that fast.
Diggs? No.
Oh, you know what? Never mind. I forgot. He's in Buffalo now. So no, they have Justin Jefferson though. They have Justin Jefferson. I was thinking of Diggs, but they have Justin Jefferson, he's a stud. I feel like this is the third year in a row the Eagles have played the Vikings on week two. Maybe it's the second year in a row, but didn't they play them in week two last year as well? And wasn't it a primetime game? I think it was a Sunday night game last year or Monday night.
Sunday night. It was the opener last year, I thought.
No, opener was
it was Detroit. It was Detroit.
Yeah, opener was Detroit. Yeah.
So yeah, but it was I believe it was a Sunday night game. And that was supposed to be Kirk Cousins coming out party, and he's on the way to the Super Bowl and stuff like that. And then it's like, no, it's the same Kirk Cousins we expected.
Yeah, because people were like, yeah, Kirk Cousins is going to be an MVP,
right?
But it ended up being a coming out party for Jalen and the Eagles. They blew, if I remember correctly, they blew the Vikings out last year, week two.
Blew the doors off on me,
and nobody really expected that to happen. I believe they run roughshod over the Vikings again. I feel like the game might be not a close game, but it's going to be a game where I feel like there's going to be some guys like they'll have the luxury of pulling guys from the game, and they might do that a little earlier than what we're expecting, being that it's a short week. I think that might happen, and the Vikings might be able to steal a few points that way. So it's not going to be a close game, but the Eagles win. We both have them starting off the season 2-0. Then they have like a long break and play the Buccaneers on Monday Night Football. So they're back-to-back primetime games. Buccaneers in Tampa, Monday Night Football. Who's the quarterback for the Buccaneers now?
Let's look it up.
I'll look it up. But what do you how do you see this game going? I mean, what do you think of the first three games of the schedule? Like, you think it's a setup?
When it comes to Eagles history, And I always say this every season. There's always that that oops game. You know what I mean? Like they just
Mm-hmm.
don't show up for, or ball doesn't bounce the right way, bad call, whatever. So I don't know. I got a bad feeling that it doesn't matter who the quarterback is against Tampa Bay. But I think that those first 2 weeks might, even though they have the extra break, I don't know. I have a feeling it might be a loss.
Really? You seeing
Yeah,
that as a loss?
I see that as a loss.
Mm. Well, I'll tell you like this, because I got caught up in something else and I didn't pull up didn't pull up the roster. I started looking at something because I thought I saw something, but um
That's all it takes.
yeah, I'm like, I'm pretty bird, pretty bird. I'm that guy. Um where's the quarterback dog on it? Oh, there you go. Baker Mayfield.
Oh my god, I got to change my answer.
Baker Mayfield is the quarterback
Never
of
mind.
the
That
Tampa
that
Bay
that
Buccaneers.
that's a W.
Um
Definite W.
Baker Mayfield tends to play well early and fade late. It's a home game. It's going to be humid. What's that? It's still September. It's going to be humid in Tampa Bay. Eagles have a long break. I'm taking the Eagles in this one as well. Mr. Shipley is trolling us. Is this the 0-17 podcast?
He's upset because we don't have a segment dedicated to anything that happened prior to 1996
Um,
or 2000 for that matter.
that's funny. That was funny. Um, he's just mad because I was thinking about what I was going to say, and then I lost it because what you said was funny. He's just mad because Dak Prescott is in camp throwing interceptions already.
Mid-season form, baby.
Already. Yep. You made me go there, Mr. Shipley. I'm sorry. But no, this is not the 0-17 podcast. That would probably be. I wouldn't even say that would be your podcast because the Cowboys are going to win some games. Let me not act like the Cowboys can't win a game in the NFL this year.
It could be the Commanders podcast.
Ooh, that's funny. Now I don't see them going 0-17 either. But you got Baker Mayfield as the quarterback in Tampa Bay. Like I said, I got Tampa Bay losing this game to the Eagles. Eagles going 3-0 to start the season on my tower. Are you changing your answer?
Yeah, I changed it to changed it to so 3-0.
Mr. Shipley said we will win 2 for sure. And I feel like I know what he's trying to say there. He's trying to say we play the Giants and the Commanders twice, so we got to win at least one of those 2 games. One of those 4 games, actually. That's exactly what he's saying. And he can't tell me any different because I put the comments on the screen.
He can't tell me any different because I own this ish.
I am the director. They come home to play the Commanders October 1st. This is like one of those games. This is like the game from last year. We got I want to see what the Commanders look like, but I don't have that luxury right now. The Commanders.
So their starting quarterback is Jacoby Brissett.
Jacoby Brissett is actually feasible. He is not a bad quarterback. Jacoby Brissett is not a bad quarterback.
He's serviceable.
Unfortunately for him, I don't know if I almost called him the old name. I don't know if the Commanders have a good enough offensive line.
I'm telling you, none of that matters. When it comes to division games, they're always tough. It doesn't matter what team is in the cellar. Like it's always a split. I got them down as a loss.
Really?
Yeah, because it's very, very, it's very. It doesn't happen so often where you can get um 2 wins against your division opponent, let alone a split. So it's like I always whenever it comes to division games, I always split them just
Mm.
because of history. Because I remember
I'm not. I'm not.
speaking on the Kelly Greens. I remember the year that the Eagles won. I'm sorry, the Giants won the Super Bowl, which was '91. Right, the
Mm.
Giants were 10-0, and they came to the vet against the Eagles, who were 4-6 at the time, and they crushed them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely crushed them. So we were good at beating the teams, just not when it was needed.
Yeah. Yeah. I would agree with that.
Feel our pain.
I got them winning this game.
Oh, you got them 4-0.
I have them winning a very close game. I feel like this is the the Commanders are finding some very like sneaky skilled players. I feel like they got some guys that flew under the radar and they have an opportunity to be good. And I think they might surprise some people in some way. I'm not saying they're going to be a playoff team. I'm not ready to say that yet about the Commanders, but I do say they'll be like there will be one of those teams that sneak up on people. I believe, kind of like how the Detroit Lions snuck up on people over the last couple years or so. With that being said, we're going. You have them at this point 3-1. I have them at 4-0. Then they fly across the map over to LA to play the Rams, who are supposed to be not good. I'm going to tell you right now, I got them losing this one.
You know what? I do too, and I
Mm.
think this is where the first rough patch is because you're going from DC, then to LA, and then back to New York.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think that historically has served them well. So yeah, I got it as L2.
Yeah, the West Coast can be a funny thing. You know, you got to do everything a little bit earlier, or no, you got to do things a little bit later than what you're used to. That's their first West Coast trip. Actually, they're only no, not that. Yeah, they're no, not their only West Coast trip. Um, but it's their first West Coast trip, and it's back to back road games right there. With the next week coming up with the Jets. Too tough. Might be too not too tough, but it might be one of those games where they get one taken from them. They get one taken from them. Then they fly back across the map, past Philadelphia, over to New Jersey to play a team from New York named the Jets. Aaron Rodgers, Dalvin Cook, what's his name? Sauce Gardner. A lot of people coming to play with the Jets this year. Eagles have never lost to the Jets. Eagles lose to the Jets this year.
Really?
Eagles lose to the Jets this year in a close game, lose back-to-back games. People want to know what's wrong with them. It's just I'm trying to give you a drama-filled season. I'm trying to give you some type of drama here. Back-to-back road games, they lose.
Hmm.
What say you?
I got them not only winning, but I got them blowing them out.
Mm,
Eagles got I think Eagles got Rogers' number because I think the last 2 or 3 times they played them, and I think 2 years in a row we played them in Green Bay. Remember, and we beat them.
yeah.
So
Last year in Green Bay? No, last year was home.
last year was home,
Last year
but
was home. I think the year before that was in Green Bay.
yeah, but they got their number. I think yeah, I think the Eagles will be okay coming back from LA, but going to LA now. Yeah, I got it as W.
Guys, a W. Eagles on your book continue their winning streak. You don't know how bad I want to call that a W, but I just want to add some drama. Like I feel like I want to be almost perfect again, like last year. um, October 22nd, Sunday Night Football, another primetime game.
That'll be the first reveal of the
Kelly Greens.
That's when the Kelly Greens come out.
Sunday Night Football, Kelly Greens. Okay, I can see that. They win that game. No way they're losing that game. The crowd's gonna go crazy with the Kelly Greens. They're gonna be fired up. You know how they are for the blackout. They're gonna be even crazier for the Kelly Greens. What's his name? Tua, not Tua. Yeah, Tua Tagovailoa.
Tua tagged my back and Ola. Someone.
He ain't got a chance. He ain't got a chance. Oh, I snatched my mic off. Tua ain't got a chance that night. It's Kelly Green night. Eric Lawrence said, Kelly Green night, bet. I think Eric is feeling like going to that game. What you say?
It's a W. Might be another one of those blowouts.
It might be a blowout. You gotta be careful of what's my I keep forgetting I moved my camera. You gotta be careful of my man. What's my man's name? The Kareem Hunt? Not Kareem Hunt. The wide receiver, the fast dude, the cheetah. Doggone. I'm tripping. Why can't I think of his name? But you know what I'm talking about, and everybody else does too. And when the name comes to me, I'll shout it out randomly and awkwardly, like I do all the time. Moving on to the next week at Washington.
Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill is his name. Tyreek Hill. Moving on to the next week at Washington. I have the Eagles winning this game.
I do as well in the interest of the split.
In the interest of the sport. Yeah, I got the Eagles winning that one. You had them losing that one, right? The first time?
The first time, yeah. Only because you've never seen me pick the Eagles sweep any team in the division. I think just historically it's always
You can't even do it with. I mean, smart money says don't pick the Eagles to sweep the Cowboys, but you actually pick the Cowboys to win a game against the Eagles?
I don't know. That it's tough because it's like you still have Dak Prescott, who we all know is what he is. He doesn't have Zeke.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter who he has at wide receiver. Because I mean they've had I saw they have the best wide receiving core in decades and still can only win playoff games. So it doesn't matter there. And they're the one that they signed, who was a Pollard, and he's coming off an ACL or a ligament. So if it were to happen, it would be this season. But again, I can't in good conscience say the Eagles will beat them both times.
Okay, so you have them winning this game. I have them winning this game. Then they move on to the Dallas Cowboys Week 9 at home. And I must say, I'm looking at the Eagles schedule, and it's like spaced out, kind of like they got a home game. I mean, road game, home game, 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 home game, road game, home game, home game, road game. Like they kind of like you. There's no 3 in a rows this year, no 4 in a rows this year. Maybe that comes with being a first place team.
Yeah, it gets tougher though once you get past the Cowboys.
Oh yeah.
It gets very, very tough.
Home game, 425 game, primetime game, or a national game. 425 Eagles versus Cowboys. People want to see it. Which one do you have happening here, Miguel? Because You got them splitting. So what do they do in this one?
I think the Cowboys will be in a rut, and this game will be flexed. Um, so I have the Eagles winning.
Um. So here's how the Cowboys season usually goes, right? Mr. Shipley, you can like confirm this for me if you want.
Or turn your VCR on.
They usually like win their first couple games, maybe first 3 games, and look good. Then they'll lose like 3 in a row, 4 in a row. Then they'll like win 1 or 2, and then they'll just start wetting the bed.
But when they lose, they lose.
They lose in amazing ways. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
They lose in amazing ways. And this game is a game that I'm picking the Eagles to not win.
Ooh.
Notice I didn't say the Cowboys are going to beat them. I just said the Eagles are not going to win this game.
I mean, what we're really saying is all these losses are just not wins.
Yeah, but this one I had to vocalize the emphasis of the fact that the Eagles won't win this game.
Put the emphasis on the the diarrhea.
So Miguel has the Eagles winning this game. I do not have them winning this game, and then they go on to the bye week. Week 10 is a bye week. Good old bye week in the middle of the season, probably coming at a good time, especially after the losing to the Cowboys because they were looking forward to a bye week, which they won't be looking forward to a bye week. They get pretty focused, especially, and they know what Cowboys week means to the Philly faithful. But they'll blow it. They'll blow it. Week 10, they don't win or lose. Then they come back with an extra day off on Monday for the Monday Night Football against the Chiefs in Sandy. Oh, wow. I'm about to say Sandy. I was reading something over here. In Kansas City. I think they go in there and they spank the Chiefs.
Ooh.
I think they spanked the Chiefs on Monday night. Got an extra week to get ready for them. I don't know if the Chiefs have a bye week that week, that previous week or whatever. They go into Kansas City and spank the Chiefs. And they're not going to call it Super Bowl payback. That was last year, blah, blah, blah. They're going to say all the right things. And then after the game, they're going to say, well, no, we wasn't looking for last year, but it feels good to get that win, especially after what happened last year.
Right.
What say you?
I got an L.
You got an L.
Yeah,
I like
it. Big Red in the middle of the season or during the season. Usually November is when he starts his stretches. Because remember, he historically is kind of so in
slow to get started in the beginning of the year.
Right, and then Novembers are usually pretty good. Novembers and Decembers are pretty much.
They are, but this is the type of game that they'll lose, and they'll lose it bad, and there'll be questions about, are the Chiefs for real? Like, are they really a Super Bowl contending team? Because they will have the slow start,
right?
And they'll win some games, and they'll get blown out by the Eagles. And then the question will be, are they really a Super Bowl contending team?
Right.
And then the Eagles will come back home to play Buffalo
in the second Kelly Green game.
And I say they go and they spank Buffalo.
2 spankages in a row.
Spank Buffalo. They're going to tear to spank the NFC East.
I got him as another L.
Woo! They ain't losing to Buffalo, man. I'm just letting you know, right? They're not losing to Buffalo. But that's a tough stretch right there. You got Kansas City, you got Buffalo, and then the next week you have The San Francisco 49ers coming back to Philly, um, playing at 425, which for them would be 125, right?
Yes.
Yeah, would be 125. Um, Philly can't wait for this game. Philly can't wait for this game because Philly has heard nothing but belly ache. I'll just be nice and call it belly aching. Philly has heard nothing but belly aching against, from Niners fans since the NFC Championship game of last year. Oh, if we didn't have, oh, if we didn't do, oh, the fans are so mean. Oh, but the guy's wife they were talking trash to the guy's wife. Why is the guy's wife in a place where people can talk trash to her? But anyway, that's not here nor there. If you want to hear some of the things that was said, check out our show from a couple weeks ago. Go to neutralsradio.com, click on Check Swing Podcast, and go to our YouTube channel, or go to the Neutrals Radio YouTube channel, and check out all of our episodes. But if you want to hear what happened from the 49ers, from the San Francisco area analyst, go check that one out. Eagles win this game as well, Miguel.
So this is where I think the blowout is going to happen with San Francisco because it's in Philly, and they've already kind of verbalized. This is going to be one of those. You're going to see, the defensive coordinator get slapped by the linebacker kind of sort of game. It's going to be frustrating.
So you think we're getting blown out?
No. San Francisco's going to get.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be arguing for San Francisco. Now, December 10th, Sunday Night Football in Dallas. Miguel, what say you? I think you picked them to win the first one, so you got to pick them to lose this one, right?
In theory, but here's the thing. We keep talking about how the season goes for Dallas, correct?
Mm-hmm.
They usually start off pretty good. By the 5th or 6th week, they're going to the Super Bowl and getting the 12th ring, whatever the crap. But there's two stats that Mr. Shipley has so kindly put in the chat.
He told me not to say nothing, so I wasn't going to say anything.
Huh?
He said not to say nothing, but so I wasn't going to say anything. But I see you see.
Well, it's a Cowboys fan, so we're allowed to. We justifiably call out. Rivals. So he puts down that Dak is 27-7 against the NFC East, and that Jalen Hurts is 9-6 against the NFC East. Yet, Jalen Hurts still has one more playoff games than Dak Prescott. So, I'm going against what I said in the beginning, and I think this is also.
And can I say something as well to what you just said?
Sure.
For most of Dak Prescott's career, the NFC East was trash.
Well, in the beginning, yeah, but the last few years, it's been pretty competitive.
The last few years, there was a year where we were like the toughest in the league.
Right, then it fell after.
That lasted a year. And then last year was a year where it was the Eagles were the best team in the division. But the NFC East was not good.
Right.
But I'm sorry. Finish what you were going to say.
Well, Mr. Shipley said fact check me, and I don't need to because we won the Super Bowl and we were in the Super Bowl. Two things that Dak will not be in or ever be in as Dallas Cowboy. He's more right. He's Dak. Matter of fact, there's a higher percentage of Dak Prescott breaking his other leg in 3 places than it is for him to win another playoff game.
Damn,
You heard it here first. So,
that's rough.
well, I mean, Mr. Shipley chose his life. So December
I just
10th.
think about it, like that's probably right. Like that's probably right for anybody, but like that's probably right. But go ahead.
So in Dallas, I believe it's going to be a Sunday night massacre. I believe that all of our running backs are going to have 60 yards rushing. I believe that's going to be like the get off game. Um, 3 receivers will have 10 plus catches. Yeah, that's going to be. I'm thinking in the 55-10 range.
Damn. Whoo. Wow. That would be amazing.
And then
I
that'll be
might call
the
out of work the next day if that happens.
and then that'll be the week that they re-sign their
Zeke?
running back Zeke. That'll be the week that they sign back, and he'll show up 48 pounds overweight, in a Holiday Inn, with a bag of blow and some hookers.
Damn, you killing that young boy.
You're welcome.
This game I feel like is going to be interesting. I'm going to say the Eagles win this game in Dallas on the Sunday night. I don't think it'll be a blowout. I think it'll be a very tough game. Like the Cowboys defense on paper right now looks like it could be pretty good.
Means nothing.
It can mean nothing, but it looks like they could be pretty good. Like I'm expecting some good games with the Cowboys. However, this is a game I feel like the Eagles will win. That'll be 1, 2, 3 for me, 4 in a row coming off the bye week. Going into the following week in Seattle, which Seattle, as we know, had a turnaround season last year after they traded Russell Wilson and had Geno Smith as their starter, and Geno Smith had a resurgence as an NFL quarterback. If they have improved, it's a team that will definitely compete for, but could possibly win the NFC West. This was a team that I was like, I didn't want to see the Eagles play in the playoffs. I didn't want to see it last year. They don't right now. I'm not fearing the Seahawks. Eagles win this game 5 in a row off the bye week. Eagles make it happen.
So I think that after the 58-10 destroying in Big D or Little D, I think they would have expended so much energy and kind of overexert themselves against the Cowboys that they may have little to nothing against the Seahawks, only because they're flying cross country to get there. So I got to give that an L.
A lot of flying they have to do. However, here's what happens this week. When they leave for Dallas, they will pack enough clothes to be gone for a week. They will not fly back to Philadelphia. They will fly somewhere else, like Indiana or Utah. I don't know. They'll fly somewhere and they'll be practicing there. Short trip to Seattle, and they'll take care of business. I feel like that's what's going to happen.
That's viable.
I feel like that's going to happen. Following week, 4:30 game, Christmas night, Christmas evening. Did they play on Christmas last year?
No.
They played Christmas Eve last year, I think.
Yeah, Christmas Eve.
They played the Cowboys Christmas Eve and lost. And I only said that to beat Mr. Shipley to it. Um, they played the New York Giants for the first time this season on Christmas night in Philly. They feel like Daniel Jones is the real deal. I feel like Eagles blow the Giants out on Christmas night. Merry Christmas, Philadelphia. What you say, Miguel?
I say the same. I mean, Daniel Jones, he'll run his naked bootleg for 48 yards, probably for a touchdown, but that'll probably be the only score for them in the game.
Probably. He might trip over one of the 30. He might trip over the 32-yard line or something again. Who knows? They stay home. They have Detroit, not Detroit, excuse me. They have Arizona, week 17, December 31st, Christmas Eve or New Year's Eve. I got them winning that game. They struggled with Arizona last year.
They did.
It was a tough game last year. But they have lost not Wes Hopkins. What's his name?
DeAndre Hopkins.
DeAndre Hopkins. Kyler Murray, we don't know if he's going to be studying or not. We don't know if he's going to be playing or not by this time of year. But who knows? You know, Cardinals could be one of them teams that surprise you. Every once in a while, they surprise you. But I got the Eagles winning this game. What say you?
Yeah, in Philly, it'll be cold. It'll be early. It's a game that could be flexed. If they move it to 4, anything after 4, it's a blowout. But 1:00, it'll probably be a good game. But I give it a win.
Okay. Then they go into week 18. In New York at the Giants. Let me give you background on this game, Miguel. This game, the Eagles already clinched their playoff spot, right? This game is for the Giants to get into the playoffs. The Giants are going to need this game to get into the playoffs. If the Giants win this game, they get into the playoffs and they keep the Cowboys out. If the Giants lose this game, the Cowboys get into the playoffs. I remember a couple years ago, I feel like the Eagles, if they played the game, I feel like they took some people out and lost the game, and one of the teams got into the playoffs and one of the teams didn't. Same type situation this year, but this time I feel like the Eagles win the game and actually the Cowboys get into the playoffs that way. Eagles win this game. They win the NFC East. They go undefeated after the bye week, going into playoffs in a good rhythm. Nobody wants to see them. I have the Eagles going. Who would I have them lose? I had them losing to LA. I had them losing to New York. I had them losing to the Cowboys. Oh my goodness, I got them going 13-3, just like last year.
You did it again.
I didn't have them going 13-3 last year, but they went 13-3 last year. I had them going 12-4 last year.
12-5.
12-5 last year.
So
what you say about this game, Miguel?
It's a win. Mariota will come back and start another quarterback controversy again, as we always like to do at the end of the season. He'll probably throw, I don't know, 5 TDs, and look like the Mariota at Oregon.
He'll run for like 67 yards.
Correct.
Yeah, correct. I can see that. So I have them going 13-3. You have them going what
14.
Was your time? Huh?
14-3.
I got. Oh yeah, that's right. I got them going 14-3.
Yep, just like you did last year.
Okay, right. And they went 13. No, they went 14-3 last year. I had them going 13-4. That's what it was. Because they went 14-3 last year.
Gotcha.
So Mr. Shippy said impossible. Nobody wins the East back to back. The Eagles are snake bit. Nobody wins the East back to back, but the last team to do it was the Eagles. So if anybody knows how to do it, it's this team here in Philadelphia.
And that's the thing you just said. If anybody knows how to do it, Dak Prescott doesn't know how to do it. Ezekiel Elliott doesn't know how to do it. He knows how to wear half shirts, and act like he's eating cereal. Um, Dak Prescott knows how to get you to 8-1, and then knows how to throw a ball 2 yards short of the first down with 3 seconds left.
Mm. Was that this year or was that last year?
No, that was against the 49ers like 3 years ago. He had
Okay,
a
it was it was last year.
all he had to do was I don't remember if he needed a field goal or an actual touchdown, but I remember they got down to like they were on there like 5. They got down to like the 20,
I remember.
and then he just stayed in bounds for some reason with 4 seconds left.
I remember.
There's not I don't know. It may be an aptitude thing in Dallas. Maybe they're just snorting too much of that oil.
They doing something. They doing something. Mr. Shipley going off about Zeke over here. Are you stumping me today, Miguel?
Yes, sir.
All right. I probably shouldn't have took that down. I probably should just let you change the picture. What sport are you stumping me with today?
Football.
Okay. And while you're getting that together, I'll get my questions together for you. Oops, wrong thing. I should have had this ready already. All right, so since you're getting that together, you want to go ahead and pick a number between 1 and what the heck? 1 and what is going on with this thing? 1 and 17.
19.
That's not a
I'm sorry. Sorry, 19 is one of my favorite numbers. Let's go. 15.
15. He says, give me a number between 1 and 10.
10.
All right. Ooh, goodness. Wait a minute. Okay. So let me get this together for you. The question is, what high school? Oh, it's gonna be a good one. What high school? Actually, it's gonna be an easy one. Now I think about it, it's gonna be so easy. What high school did Reggie Jackson attend?
Cheltenham.
Yep, Cheltenham. That's so easy. So easy. Why didn't they put 4 different Philadelphia high schools up there at least? I guess they really don't think Philadelphia people want. Anyway, Jackson graduated from Cheltenham High School in 1964, where he excelled in football, basketball, baseball, and track and field. At tailback in football, he injured his knee in the early season game. In his junior year, he was told by doctors he would never play football again, but Jackson returned for the final game of the season. In that game, Jackson almost laughed. Not funny. In that game, Jackson fractured 5 cervical vertebrae, which caused him to spend 6 weeks in the hospital and another month in the neck cast. Not funny at all.
Wow.
But it's just ironic that they was like, you'll never play again. And then he played again, and then he fractured his 5 cervical vertebrae. Like, why didn't you listen to the doctor? Anyway, that's probably why he became a Hall of Famer. Doctors told Jackson he might never walk again, let alone play football, but Jackson defied the odds again. On the baseball team, he batted .550 and threw several no-hitters. That is Reggie Jackson, Mr. October.
Mr. October.
So now Miguel decides he's going to stump me. And here we go. 5-time Pro Bowler. War number 80 for the Sixers, the Nuggets, the Celtics, and the Cavaliers. No, I'm just playing.
Nice.
What we
Nice.
got? We have the
I don't think,
Broncos.
nope. I don't think you'll ever guess that team.
There's got to be one of the teams in the NFL, right?
Yeah, one of the 32, yes. Or 30.
I got 32 guesses to get it right. So you think I'll never guess, so I have to guess something like off brand now.
Or era.
Patriots?
Damn, you got it. I underestimated you, oh wise one.
You absolutely did. Chargers?
No. East Coast.
Dolphins?
Dolphins.
Okay. That's a weird. That should be orange and not. Looks kind of.
Listen, that's the colors that were. That was the template.
Brownish.
That's the template that's on the website.
I understand. I'm just saying it looks a little mustard brownish. Eagles?
Yep.
And Skins.
Commanders.
But when he played, it was the Skins.
Yes.
5-time Pro Bowler. We're talking about my man, Pastor Irvin Fryer. There he is.
Pasta.
There he is. I had to remember that he played for the Skins when he played for the Skins. I had to remember. I forgot about that.
Do you remember the incident between because you remember his last game as an Eagle?
No, I don't remember his last game as an Eagle.
Last game as an Eagle, he announced the week before the last game that he was going to retire. So they play the game, and the Eagles gift him a motorcycle.
I remember that. Yeah.
2 weeks later, he signs with the Redskins, says he has more left in him, and he did the honorable thing. He said, "I returned the motorcycle because it was a retirement gift, and he wasn't ready to go yet."
I wonder if they gave it back to him when he actually did retire.
That I don't remember.
Very interesting.
He was actually pretty good on. He was on 6 ABC.
He was. I forgot.
Yeah, and he was pretty good. He was pretty good.
Wasn't better than Vi Sekahima though.
Vi Sekahima.
That Vi is a classic. Vi is a classic. Irvin Fryer. I remember. Was it Irvin Fryer? Yeah, it was Irvin Fryer. I just remember one play that he caught the ball. Like he caught the end of the ball. Like the ball got past him, and he caught the ball on the back end, not like behind the ball, but the back end of the ball, and bought that thing in. That's good. That's the first time I ever seen somebody do something like that. That's incredible.
Yeah.
I could only do that with a Nerf ball. You remember Nerf footballs?
I remember Nerf footballs.
They were so popular.
Yes, they were.
Tear your arm up when you go through a real football.
Somebody had brought this up. I saw it on social media. Why is it that towards the end of the life of a Nerf ball, there was always a bite mark? You ever notice that every Nerf football towards the end of its life, it's like the skin's peeling off. It's like there's a bite mark. Why? What the hell were we doing back then?
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of funny. There was always a bite mark in the football. Do you remember the screamer, the Nerf football, the screamer?
Yeah.
Like, it had the little whistler thing in it. That thing, man.
Yeah.
That was cool. You just hear it like down the street, when everybody playing. You hear that? That was cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
That was fun. Well, all right. There you have it. We gave you the Eagle. Oh, we didn't even talk about the trade deadline. Oh well. The Eagles, did the Phillies make any moves since we've been on?
Nothing since we've been on, although they did win the game in comeback fashion in the ninth. But yeah, no other major moves.
Okay. All right. I want to send prayers out to Dan Lebitard. He revealed that he lost his brother tragically, and he was 50 years old. So prayers go out to you and your family. With all that being said, we're gonna get out of here. We appreciate y'all checking out the Check Swing podcast. Make sure you check us out next time here on NewTwistRadio.com's here on New Twist Radio's YouTube channel, and you check out Check Swing podcast. Also, go over to NewTwistRadio.com and check out all our previous episodes that are stationed on our YouTube channel. You can check us out wherever you listen to your favorite podcast, which should be us. But if it's not, that's cool too. But you can listen to us wherever you like to listen to your favorite podcast. Wherever your favorite platform is to listen to podcasts. That's probably a better way to say it. Anyway, we're gonna get up out of here. We appreciate y'all. We'll talk to y'all next time.
Did you want to try it again?
No, I don't. We'll never get out of here. We'll talk to y'all next time on the Check Swing podcast. Peace out, y'all.